It is my pleasure and privilege to be able to have a very important conversation with a global superstar who's multi talented songwriter, singer, actor, producer. Yes, I'm talking about the one, the only legendary icon, Mariah Carey. I'm so happy to be able to have this conversation with her to discuss her amazing special, Mariah Carey's Magical Christmas, which you can find right now on Apple TV Plus. Let's get started. Mariah Carey with us right now. Such a pleasure and honor to be having this conversation with you. I mean, it is just so amazing because you bring Christmas to all of us. You just take us away and we just feel so festive. And thank you so much for creating Mariah Carey's Magical Christmas, which we all get to enjoy and we've all watched on Apple TV Plus. So I want to ask you, a little bit behind the scenes and how did you come about with this entire idea?
The one shining moment every year that I hoped for was Christmas. I hoped for like a perfect Christmas, and it ended up getting foiled by dysfunctional ex family members and just people that came in and like ruined it for me as a little girl. I know that sounds weird. People who have read the book will understand why I say ex family members, but that's a whole nother story.
Incredible memoir, by the way, and it was an instant best-selling on the New York Times. And it does give us a good sense of why Christmas is so special to you, and that is why you wanted to bring this to life, and you were able to do so with this special. So tell us a little bit more about how you were actually able to create this vision and do so with Apple TV Plus. How did that relationship even happen?
I was obsessed with um, the morning show on Apple TV Plus, and I always want to do something festive for Christmas. And I used to do my live shows when people were still doing live shows. Like right during the last one of the last live shows I did for Christmas was at the Garden. I guess it must have been 2020 before everything.
The world changed,
Yeah,
right?
so, or 2019, I guess, for that Christmas.
Right.
Anyway, every year at Christmas, I kind of want to do something spectacular. And I was like, I know we can go to other outlets and see what they feel, but can we really just go to Apple first? Because I'm so into what they're doing. And so we had this incredible meeting where basically I did like what we're doing right now. I just talked about my love of Christmas and the fact that I wanted to do something, basically like live from the North Pole, which is a big concept, but I really think we were actually entertaining that idea. And so after that meeting, I was like, I don't even need to go anywhere else. I mean, Zach from Apple was just like, totally got my vision. He might be the only person who loves Christmas as much as I do, I think.
Wow.
He might
What a
be.
statement. That's big.
It's big. It's a big statement. I'm standing behind it though, because I think he might be. But so
I mean,
yeah.
that's
So
a big statement from the Queen of Christmas. Okay. So what a
it's
cosign.
he's up there in the hierarchy of it all.
Right.
So I just felt like he got the vision, and then we worked with Dun and Dusted and the guys there, Hamish and Raj and everybody. We all got on calls and went over sketches, and my ideas are very specific when it comes to Christmas. Like if I see
Oh,
something,
yeah.
yeah, it's
Wait,
like
wait, wait. We're going to get into those details. Hold on, because I know how hands on you are. This is not just a matter of Mariah Carey, the glamorous, amazing superstar that you are in front of a camera. No, we're going to talk about all the lifting you did behind the camera and what went into that. You also served as an executive producer on this special. And I want to hear more about that experience for you because, for the world, everyone's so used to seeing you in front of the camera and being this amazing star that you are. But how was the experience as an executive producer?
well, I feel like I'm always and always have been since I knew what producing meant. I've been a producer.
Right.
But it all begins with the music. So to your point, the executive production of it all is really to me the only way to do something. Unless I'm dropping in as a special guest in someone else's thing, I'm always thinking that way. But it starts with the music and then, the costumes and everything. I feel like all of that obviously the Nappy Tabs and Tanaka and everybody that was involved with like the full-on presentation. All the elements. We worked on the dancers' sketches as elves, like literally down to, do I like the stripe going this way or do we like, a sprig of holly, whatever it is. So it all became very important, and the post-production. Luckily, I was able to work out of the house, and I really am so thankful for all the people who through COVID and everything, just showed up, worked, really gave everything, and, some award-winning, incredible talent. My band and my singers, and, there was a choir, and it was amazing, but you are not allowed to actually sing in the room with all the people. So that was another guideline. So we had to record and produce and arrange behind the scenes rather than like a live concert. So it was really a labor of love. And I'm just so thankful to all the people, everybody that was there donating their time, not donating, but spending their time.
Right.
Yeah.
And working hard.
Working
hard. And believing in your vision.
Yeah. And there was a charitable component to it as well, which I thought was great, that actually came from.
I love that.
Yeah. It's just like, it's Christmas, and, but in the grand scheme of things, it's also like, let's think a little bit, broader. I know it's very specific to what we were all going through last year with COVID and everything. And we really tried to make sure that we were respectful of that without being bleak. Like, we didn't want to be dismal. We wanted it to be uplifting as possible, while taking into consideration the fact that no, people can't really leave their houses. And yes, like, people will have no idea how hard it was for everybody behind the scenes, like, to actually be in a physical space with other people. Like, even picking up a phone, like, that's part of one of my favorite scenes in the well, yeah, I guess it's technically a movie. My favorite scenes is when I pick up, it's one of the scenes that Roman Coppola shot, and he reveals this beautiful sleigh for the song Sleigh Ride. But even when I would have to, he would be explaining something to me, and we were kind of going back and forth about things, and he would pick the phone up, and then the girl who was there just specifically for COVID protection had to come, wipe the whole thing off, disinfect it, put it back down. Then I could pick it up, do the scene, and hopefully get it right, because otherwise so it was a big process to have this happen during COVID. But a lot of people said to me, like, thank you for,
yes,
it was a moment that I feel like was necessary. For me, I don't know what I would have done without it. So it saved me, really. And so just as an executive producer, and as someone who was so fortunate to work with so many great artists, and we had the Oh Santa moment, which was so much, so fun for me. Do you remember that moment?
Yes. Tell us more. I want to talk about, listen, you have the stars lined up, part of your special. And how did you put it all together, as far as who you wanted to work with, who you wanted to be part of your special, to bring your vision to life and to give us so much joy during a very difficult time?
So we decided, okay, it'd be fun to do like a reinterpretation of Oh Santa, which is a song I wrote for the Merry Christmas to You album, my second Christmas album.
Right.
I have several. I enjoy it. But yeah, so when we discussed the song Oh Santa that I wrote for my second Christmas album, I thought originally the concept I had with that song was for it to be kind of like a 60s girls group, sort of Supremes style. Yeah, but nobody really knew that unless they were living in my head. But that was the way I approached the vocals, and I think I did all those backgrounds myself back then. And so obviously everybody was like, we want to hear you sing with Ariana Grande, and this would be such an incredible moment. So, it was really, such a fabulous thing to be able to connect with her. And then J Hud, who I had started to get to know a couple years before that, who I love and adore. We had been talking about working on a project together. So it just, thankfully everybody's teams got together and made it happen. And I really enjoyed it. And I think that was definitely a highlight of the moment.
Oh, for sure. Mariah, tell us a little bit how it was working with BAFTA award-winning director Hamish Hamilton, and also Golden Globe winner Roman Coppola. And had you ever worked with them before?
It was amazing. I hadn't worked with neither Roman nor Hamish before, and I would have to say, like, just two geniuses in their own right. And it was really nice to see them be able to work with each other, because that's also a difficult balance. You know what I mean? So Roman had his own style of working, and Hamish, obviously comes from the world of live shows and has, many awards from his work in that world. And so, it's always a process though, because I have my own idiosyncrasies, in case you couldn't tell.
Sure.
And so it's always me kind of trying to navigate around people and make sure that I'm being, as respectful as possible, while like in some kind of uncomfortable garment, standing in the snow and like trying to do a performance that requires like peace of mind and just being able to be, at ease, which is not truly easy during all that stuff. So I think Hamish and Roman did such an incredible job, considering the fact that we all had these strict guidelines that we had to adhere to. And like, no matter what, it wasn't an option to cut to the audience. The audience were the dancers and the extras. And I was involved in the selection of, in the casting of everything, so it was literally down to, here's what the birch trees are going to look like, or here's what we think, the Santa's village of it all was a back and forth. And I have to say that Raj was fantastic from Done and Dusted. He really, he was tolerant of me and my very specific aesthetic when it comes to Christmas. Because if I see something that I don't feel like resonates with me on that level, I'm like, why would you think that color should be? And I don't yell at anybody, but I'm just like, it'll annoy me. I think, I feel like I was talking to you one night. Maybe you remember this. I was
Yes.
in the studio.
Yes.
Yeah, and going back and forth, because it's a whole long story, but there was a color transfer that had happened, and there was this, I don't even know how to pronounce it properly, because I changed it to Aurora Borealis because I didn't understand why the Northern Lights had to, like, it's not something I grew up with, like, oh, we gotta have the Northern Lights. Like, I never cared about that part. I'd rather see a black sky with beautiful sparkling stars and just like have it be that aesthetic. But then there was a misunderstanding, a miscommunication. This is no disrespect to anyone, and this is a total tangent, but if it's applicable, we can discuss it. Actually, Zach and I were having and giving the same notes at the same time, and didn't know it. But and there was like, there's always, whenever there's a layer, this is why it's important to be a producer, but to really be considered in the whole equation and not be pigeonholed as like, oh, she's the artist, let's just fix this without her. And sometimes that happens, just keeping it 100. So, at this point, it was the whole Aurora Borealis thing. And like, so it's like rainbow sky, pink and all this. And I'm like, why? That's not festive. That's not what I'm trying to see. But anyway, it turned into where the sky became green. And
Right. I remember.
yeah, so I had this whole thing and I was like, why would anybody think the sky should be green? Okay, I get it. Green is in the Christmas palette, but not for the sky. So anyway, the funny thing about it all is again, Zach and I were on the same page about this, didn't know it, and it stayed green, right? But then when I was watching with my son and daughter, Rocky was like, what are you guys talking about? The North Pole, the sky is green. What do you mean? That's right. So when, he's closer to studies than I am. So,
Right.
if Rocky didn't have a problem with it, I'll go with it. I'm just saying,
Right.
like, that's one of the things where most people really don't care if the sky has a slight hue of green. But
You care
I
because this
care.
is your baby. This is something you put together. This is your vision that you have been, dreaming about since you were a child, what the
Yeah.
perfect Christmas is for you, and to actually bring it to life, to share it with the world. And it brings so much joy to us. Of course, you're going to care about every little single detail, which also, in my opinion, makes, you such a great executive producer, because you're hands on. It's just not a title to you. You carry that, with so much pride, and it shows in your work, and not just your music that everybody loves you for, and your songwriting, but it just to be able to see you also turn this into a visual, is really incredible. I want to talk a little bit about the other stars that are part of it, and how that came about. whether it was Tiffany Haddish or, Jermaine Dupri or Misty Copeland. Tell us a little bit about, by the way, the Misty part of the special was just beautiful. But, for yourself, what made you want to work with the other superstars that's part of the special?
Well, I think we all, collectively as producers really wanted to bring just additional excitement to the project. And I didn't even know where to begin because it was such an honor. We already talked about that incredible moment with Ariana and Jennifer. And that was just such a spectacular moment for me. I loved it. I love how it ended up turning out. It was difficult with all the different angles and different stuff and whatever, but like it was just a timeless moment for me. But when we, Tiffany Haddish being there, I didn't get to work with her, but like she's one of the funniest people ever to me. She's so brilliant.
Great energy, yeah.
Yeah, and like so she as the narrator, I just felt it was an interesting direction, you know what I mean? And she brought such lightness to it, like without trying to make it all stand up, like, or trying to do a different thing, or without being sarcastic, or like I feel like she really respected the Christmasness of it all, and she also added, she gave it some flavor, and
she gave it life.
Yeah, it was one of the best ideas I think that came from the sort of collaborative nature of how the special came to be. And Billy Eichner, I am so happy that he was in the special because I had done Billy on the Street, his show, the Christmas before that, right? And we had like interaction over social media, and I love him. And I was actually scared to do his show because I'm like, he pulls no punches. He just walks up to people on the street and says whatever is in his mind about anyone on this planet. So I'm like, okay. And then we ended up I had so much fun doing Billy on the Street, but when he, agreed to do the special, I was so happy. And there are actually some outtakes that didn't get used because they were just us being like off the cuff and me playing off of him and vice versa. And so I'm hoping for one day to have like an even more collaborative moment with him, but I'm so glad that he was able to embody the Billy the Elf character. That was so much fun. There were moments where, oh my gosh, Misty Copeland. I became aware of Misty really because I like live in my own world, my own little land. But she was so complimentary of me and just always talked about sort of the representation that she felt as a Black and biracial woman growing up and listening to my music and relating to me on that level and feeling like, I don't want to speak for her, but she's told me personally, and she said it publicly.
And she's mentioned it in interviews for sure.
Yeah, she has been very complimentary and very like, we're both MCs. It's a whole thing. So during her section where she dances to, sorry, I'm hearing the melody in my head. So during Misty's,
I don't know what that is, but
I'm not even going to do it. Too many mics, not enough time.
Yeah.
So when Misty was dancing to the Sugar Plum Fairy, and I did my rendition of that song, and I just sort of did it in my upper register, and then extended it for her.
Beautiful.
And what happened is I was in that shot actually at first, and I don't know if you remember, it's the big shot where she's dancing around and then there are sort of like these open hallway kind of pilaster moments, whatever. And I was standing up there and like watching her, but it just felt like unnecessary to see me at that point. To me, I was just like, I just wanted to see her dance. So we actually painted me out of that scene. I'm glad that moment became like something that for generations to come, little girls and anyone inspired to, by ballet will have that timeless moment of Misty.
I feel like that was another executive producer moment for you, right? To do what's best for the special, and making that decision where, hey, you're not needed, even though you're the star of your own special. You decided, no, let's remove that because it's all about what's best for this actual vision and this creation to happen. So, good job as an executive producer for sure.
Thank you.
I mean, most of the time it's like,
more me. No, honestly,
more me.
It's not
There was
more
not.
me.
Yeah.
That
So-
moment needed to be what it was. So yeah,
Right.
That's when you
Yeah.
have your executive producer hat on and not your like, please put me in front of the camera thing.
Right,
You know?
for sure. I didn't know that. I would have obviously, again, you working and editing and being part of the special effects and working with the team to make sure that it looked great. No one would know or have any idea of the original take. So that's really great to know. I had no idea. Now I'm never going to look at it like that. I'm going to be like, where was Mariah in this whole thing? Where was she at?
Maybe
Where
I
was she
shouldn't
at?
have given that away, but I guess only a few
It's
people are
important.
gonna see this. So
Yeah. No,
Our
it's important.
secret's
It's
safe.
important. Yeah. Now, more music when it comes to your special. Tell us a little bit about Sleigh Ride and why it was special for you this time around as far as the arrangement.
Well, okay, so I've done a lot of Christmas songs, reinterpreted them, everything from like Joy to the World and rearranged that with the Three Dog Night version, and then that's like my arrangement of that, to Hark the Herald Angels Sing, which is at the end of my version of Sleigh Ride. Because I used to open my live shows for Christmas with Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and it's one of my favorite renditions, not just because it's mine, but I enjoy doing that. I enjoy that. I enjoy the background vocals, the whole thing. But we wanted to start the special with an up-tempo record, and for it to not feel like too serious from the beginning, to feel fun. But obviously I didn't want to do All I Want for Christmas Is You first, because then like, what's the finale, really?
Right.
But so actually Raj came up with the idea for Sleigh Ride, and it was, I think I never did that song because I tend to do like only the very, very classic songs for Christmas, and it's rare that I'll do one that's even from like whatever, like that's not from like the 1500s, like that old.
Right.
But so I wasn't looking for, like, otherwise I would just write a new song in the vein of like something that would have been from like the 70s or 60s or whatever. So Sleigh Ride, the Phil Spector version, is a classic that I've always loved. And that's why typically if someone's going to be like, hey, why don't you do this? I'm usually like, leave the song ideas up to me, pal. But I didn't say that.
This is true.
It is true.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm being silly. But no, I honestly do get a little bit annoyed. No, when Raj said that, I was like, that's a great idea. And I knew that we could figure out a way to make it come to life. And I loved the idea because it was also inclusive of having an actual sleigh ride be the opening number for the special. So I have I'm not going to like get into all the things that I would have loved for a slightly different treatment to that actual beginning of the special, but I'm not the queen of special effects, so I can't sit in the room by myself and make it happen.
And do it. Yes.
If I could do it myself, I would do it. But, again, like during COVID, it's not like everything's
Right.
accessible and all that. So I look at it as it's fun, it's kitsch, it's become a fan favorite. And just structurally, I did an edit where I put and then sang, the Hark the Herald Angels Sing part, which ends Sleigh Ride. And I love it because it's all of a sudden, it's very Christmassy at that moment. Like it's a random choice that you would add that type of a song to the end of Sleigh Ride. It's totally, they're incongruous, but I felt like, okay, let's try it. And every time I watch it, that's the goosebump part for me.
Do you have a favorite scene or moment from the special, from the point of view as the star of it, and then a point of view as the executive producer?
I mean, this is this is the way I am. I pick everything apart. Nothing is ever like, that was the best for me when I'm talking about myself as the star
Right.
of the special.
Yeah.
I have moments that I love. I love some of the moments in the red ensemble for All I Want for Christmas Is You with the gold buttons and the end where Rocky's dancing and Roro's in her frilly little dress. Like those are just personally that's me as a person. I don't know if that's like I'm a star in that moment. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I'm just thankful that I was able to work with such incredible talent. Oh, we didn't even talk about one of my really like fun moments for me as the performer was Jermaine and Snoop. Like that moment, okay, almost didn't happen, first of all. Like I ended up having to kind of figure out the talent side of things a lot, sort of on my own at the last minute, specifically with regard to that section of it. And so I just called JD, and we were in Los Angeles, and I was like, "Look, do you want to do this Christmas thing?" Because by the way, he and I wrote "Oh Santa" together, so that was that was already.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah. From years ago, I was like, come on, JD, it's Christmas. Let's just write this song. It's going to be fun. Like, that's not in the forefront of his mind, especially back then. So I called him, and he happened to be about to, whatever, go over to Snoop's house. I don't know what they were doing, something. And I'm like, can you guys come do this, like, tomorrow? Because we're doing Here Comes Santa Claus, which I also co-produced with Jermaine for my second Christmas album. So there they were. And Snoop came in a Santa suit. And
Yes.
it was last minute, and it was so much fun. My only regret is that it wasn't locked in earlier, so that I, as the talent coordinator for that section,
I was going to say, you're also the booker. You're the talent booker.
as the talent booker for that section, I would have loved to have had like 4 takes where Snoop comes down the stairs, and when he's,
Right.
like Jermaine is doing more stuff. Like, it's just always good, from my point of view, to really get the most takes get more takes than you need.
Yeah.
But again, working under COVID restrictions and all that, we did a good job, and it was fun. So I watched that part. That's one of my favorite parts, like as a spectator, because I love that version of Here Comes Santa Claus. And the new section that I wrote for that part, the Gather Around, it's my favorite part. And to see Snoop like dancing to that in a Santa suit made me happy. It made me
all of
feel
us
festive.
happy.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Do you feel good about this beautiful special that you put together? But I know you're a perfectionist at the same time, and you're very hands-on. Do you feel it's everything that you wanted? Of course, considering the circumstances.
I'm so proud of this special, particularly as an executive producer, but also, as just a fan of Christmas. I'm thankful that it existed, in that moment, particularly because I needed to go into Christmas land. I think everybody needed that moment. Of course, I'm a perfectionist, and everything is a learning experience, but I'm really so proud and so thankful that moment happened and exists forever. And one of the things I didn't get to say, because I forgot, I don't know how I could forget, the Peanuts gang being a part of this special is such a big deal, because I don't know if anybody realizes this, but every year watching Charlie Brown Christmas special, watching the Thanksgiving special, all of those things, and then to turn around and be in a scene with Woodstock where they don't collaborate with people that aren't from their era per se. Like the music and stuff doesn't change. They're very specific with the Schultz estate. It's such incredible people. So to have them singing the All I Want for Christmas Is You melody in a scene, and having Linus play the beginning of that, which is Daniel Moore, incredible pianist, but we won't give that. I don't think we give those secrets away. Anyway, just having that, I'm like, wow, I could never imagine as a kid that I would write a song and have a special and be executive producing this project and be able to look and see Charlie Brown and Linus and Snoopy and everybody playing and singing my song. So that meant so much to me. That was just amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your vision with us, and, giving something to look forward to when it comes to the holidays. I know when it first aired on Apple TV Plus, I couldn't wait to put it on. It made me feel so much better. You brought the holidays to us, and I'm not even a very, festive person in Christmas in general before. It's
You're
because
festive.
of you that I
You're
love.
festive whether you
It's
know
because
it or
of
not.
you. Yeah, you made us the joy that you have with Christmas is so infectious, and it makes everybody enjoy Christmas, and to be able to enjoy your special, and for generations to be able to watch this and to see your vision come to life, and just to see the you wanting all of the joy and wanting the winter wonderland to come to life, and making it yours and giving it to us. I mean, thank you.
Thank you for saying that. And I just have to say, no matter what, I'm just grateful for this forum to be able to talk about it. Because if nothing else, like I said, it really is, and my love of Christmas, and it all stems from like coming from a place where if I didn't dare to dream that I could exist outside the circumstances to which I was born, and dream, like, and still not have it taken away from me as that spark, that kept me hopeful as a kid. And then to have you say that to me when we're talking about Christmas and about a special, and just what it means, what it could mean to somebody who has a dream and doesn't have necessarily somebody to encourage them. To me, it just shows that all things are possible.
We appreciate you. As a lamb, we appreciate you, Mariah. You are a legend. You are an icon. We appreciate you and the passion that you put behind everything you do. It is appreciated. You deserve all the flowers in the world. And, thank you for all that you've given us over the years.
Thank you for everything. And thank you for the sisterhood as a woman of color and a powerful woman, that you do your stuff, you do your business, you do your thing. And I'm appreciative for this moment to express that part of who I am. So thank you.
Thank you. And I got you.
Love you, darling.
Love you.
Say bye, Cha-Cha.
Bye, Cha-Cha.